Hi everyone. I've got Maggie who's coming on with me in just a second to talk about a favorite topic of mine because I'm definitely someone who considers myself a control freak, and I know that there are other people out there like that as well. So, hi Maggie.
Hi, Taylor.
I'm so happy to have you here and so happy to have you on because I was just saying before you hopped on, that this is a really hot topic for me as I consider myself a control freak.
Yeah,
And,
me too.
I know that these were skills. Once I learned these, I was just like, oh, it's a lot easier to release control than I thought.
Yes,
Not to say that it's going to be easy, but it was easier than I expected, and it's actually better to do.
I agree.
So, to get us started, just a little quick intro for people who don't know me, who may be joining from your side of Instagram. I'm Taylor. I'm a former travel blogger turned yoga teacher, yoga mentor, confidence coach. I absolutely love helping people follow their dreams, whether it's traveling the world or becoming a yoga teacher specifically. And I do a lot of this through my coaching, through yoga itself, and through now somatic movement and somatic skills that really help us live our best lives and go after the things that we're usually pretty scared to follow. So confidence is a really, really big theme for me. And
Amazing.
for those who don't know you, Maggie, share a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I am 500-hour certified yoga teacher. I've been doing that for a little while now, and now I'm kind of shifting into more somatic yoga movement work, and I work as a life coach as well. And I'm currently trying to work more and more with singles and empowering people to love single life and not being afraid of it, and at the same time becoming red flag repellent and just living your best life. That's kind of where I'm at.
Red flag repellent. Oh my gosh, where were you? 5 years ago for me, for all of my 20s. Oh, I could have used your
That's what
help
I'm
then.
here to do. We're fixing it. That's my purpose, I think. I think that's one of my purposes.
I love it. Okay, so
Yes.
before we dive into all of the topics and sharing
Yes.
what actually is within your control, you
Mhm.
want to lead us through a little breath work practice just to get us calm so we can take in the information and actually remember it. Shut off our
Yes.
buzzing brains for a little
That'd be
bit. So go ahead.
wonderful. Okay, yeah, wherever you are, if you can plant your feet on the floor, that's great. If not, crisscross. Awesome. Hands can come to the belly. Maybe one hand floats to the heart. Close the eyes if you're comfortable to do so, or find a nice soft gaze. If hands are somewhere on the body, I love to use my thumb just to kind of gently kind of caress or glide across the skin, just as a little comforting touch. Allow the breath to flow into the belly, and exhale through the mouth or nose, your choice. Find expansion in the low back on the inhale. Sunshine on the chest, breathe it out. 2 more breaths here. Big inhale. Exhale it out. Last one, invite it in. Bring in the light, the breath. Exhale, keep the light and let the rest go. Blink the eyes open. Come back to our space.
Mm, I love it.
Love it.
I think one thing I didn't realize when I was practicing yoga was really truly we're told how important the breath is all the time, and it's not something that I ever brought off of the mat to practice in my daily life. But even just this is an example of how quickly we can realize what is within our control. And that's one of the things is breath.
Yep,
You can
that's
choose
one of
how you
them.
want to breathe. But you got a few other things.
I
So
got it.
what are the things that we can actually
Yes,
control in our
okay,
lives to help us feel more peaceful?
yes, okay. The 6 things. We talked about breath. Our breath is in there. What time we wake up and go to bed. That's all in one. What we eat, what we wear, how we move our body through space. And this can be both applying to like, I can control my movement, but also like how I uh, organize my time, how I move, how I walk, where I go, what I do. And finally, it is your home environment. And that only really applies if you live by yourself. If you're sharing, cohabitating, you might not have as much, not complete control over that. So that's it. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, no, it's really simple. And I know when I first learned about these things, I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean I can't control other people?
Yeah.
Not that I want to be like manipulative or anything, but I'm just like, oh my God, like how am I supposed to deal with people who don't think the same or just relationship that are causing friction? And it really forces us to like look inwards. So like, what is something for you once you learned what these 6 things are that you can control? Like, how did that help you become more empowered? And did that change like how you go about your day?
Oh, so much changed for me. Oh, the big thing for me was clothing. I feel like I was always just like wearing, it's like, these are just my clothes. I accept it and I just, that's it. But I thought about it and how like me choosing to not get dressed up or not even dressed up, but not wearing something that makes me feel bold or like myself is numbing down my energy throughout my day. I'm not gonna, on days where I just like be comfy or not really fully like wear jewelry or just like things that make me feel good, I wouldn't go outside. I wouldn't like go do something nice for myself. I just kind of hermit, stay in on my days off and not be as excited by life. So choosing to wear clothes that feel great, like I can't tell you how many of my friends have asked me like, are you going somewhere? Like, where are you going? Or like, are you filming like today or something? Like, what's going on? I'm like, no, I feel so good. And this is how I want to live my life. I don't want to wait to feel like empowered.
Yes, no, I know for myself too, like I completely agree. Starting to wear makeup again because I had gone through like a really big thing, like probably over a decade ago now, where I was like, I want to feel more confident in my body and how I look, so I'm going to stop wearing makeup. Like I really went to the extreme, and now like, you know what, makeup actually makes me feel pretty.
Yeah.
Not that I need it or anything,
No.
but I'm just like, I'm not a full makeup person. Like that is too
Neither
much
am I.
effort for me. That's
No,
not
no,
my
no, no.
jam. But like a little bit of mascara, some like eyebrow stuff, like that's it. And just doing that, it just helped me feel like I was ready to start the day. And it just really like drew this line in the sand of like, okay, like you're good to go now. Not that I need to put on a face or put on like a certain outfit to really get myself going. But I like how you mentioned that it's like, it's energy. It's how you're choosing to put yourself out into the world, and recognizing that we have a choice in how we want to show up is huge. And like, I know it seems like it's too simple.
Yeah.
But it makes like such a big, big impact.
Yeah. And to like the opposite now, like, because that's something that I embraced that helped me so much. Can you share something that you tried to control fiercely that's not on our wonderful list of 6, and let me know kind of like what happened like with the outcome of trying to hold so tightly to control?
Yeah. So when I first started dating my boyfriend, we are like complete like opposite schedules when it comes to sleep. He's a night owl, I'm a morning person, and I think that people who sleep in, it's just like a waste of time. But that's just me, like personally. That's just how, like, I like to get up early and get my day started.
Yeah.
And I recognize that other people have other ways, but I'm very like firm in my way of getting up early. And he would sleep into like 11, 12, and I just felt like I was wasting my day waiting for him. So like trying to like force him to get up early, there was just like so much friction. Like I felt like I tried everything. And I approached a lot of it with like frustration and anger and overwhelm. And eventually one day I just like stepped back and I was like, okay, you want to sleep on the weekends? I'm gonna go do my own thing. And my mornings were so much more relaxing because I was like, what do I actually want to do in this moment? Instead of like, I'm gonna focus all of my energy on trying to get my boyfriend up, I'm gonna focus all my energy on myself and what's important to me in this moment. And my weekend mornings now are like 10 times better than what they used to be.
Yay. That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. And the funny thing is one time I was like, oh, we both need to do our laundry. I'm just gonna go do my laundry by myself. We used to do it like together all the time. I was like, you know what? I don't have time to wait for this guy. I'm just gonna go do
I'm doing my laundry.
it. And then one day, I like did my morning routine and was like, okay, now I'm gonna go do my laundry. And he, like, without me saying anything, actually like got up and was doing his laundry a little bit after me, but it was done in time for both of us to go out when we wanted to. And just like how smooth everything was, like how the timeline just came together without me being like, you got to get up at this time, laundry has to be done at this time. Like I used to try and really control everything.
Yep.
And then when I stepped back and just had everything kind of like flow out, I was like, oh, this is like magic. Like, how does this happen, sort of thing?
No, to add on to that, releasing control, it gives people the opportunity to surprise you and for you to be surprised.
I love that.
I love it so much. Like, for sure, it is scary because you are releasing control. So there is a version where maybe you might be disappointed or things might not go exactly to plan. But generally speaking, like, especially like your boyfriend, like, he's gonna do his laundry. Like, he's a grown man. He loves you. You guys get along together. Like, it's gonna happen. And for some reason we think in our brain, like, if we don't make it happen, that something will go wrong, that we have to make sure it happens.
I feel that. The perfectionist in me is just like,
yes.
yeah, no, only you can do it correctly. But I really like what you said about like being open to surprises, because the amount of times that someone else in my life has like done something differently and I was just like, oh my god, they're actually doing things more efficiently. It makes more sense the way that they're doing it. And like, not even just being surprised, but allowing yourself to learn from other people, not expecting yourself to know everything takes so much pressure off of it. So my next question for you is, because I know we're making it seem like really easy, like, oh, I just tried doing this, and it's not.
No.
What do you do when you find yourself slipping back into wanting to control things? Because I know when I get really overwhelmed, the first thing I do is like, I got a timeline set. I'm telling other people what to do. Like, I start going like way back into control. What do you do?
Pause. That's the pause. Hands on the body. The amount of times during the day that I say breathe, breathe, I'll do like in breath, out breath, in breath, out breath. And then slowly I just got slower and slower. But the number one thing is pause. Once I start to feel that trigger of pause and then see the situation. I find it very helpful to speak out loud, or if you're in a public place, to write down what my thoughts are right now. And sometimes you don't always have like that perfect opportunity to go through it. Like I'm a server, it's one of my jobs. So when I'm in the thick of it at work, I just am telling myself, breathe, breathe. And reminding myself of what I can control and what my brain is currently telling me I think I can control. So for my example of being a server, I cannot control how many people come in at what time. Like, I cannot control how fast people drink their drinks. I can't control how many drinks people are going to order at such close proximity. But for some reason, I tell myself when I'm serving, if I'm a good enough server and I'm smart enough and I'm fast enough, I can be perfect and seamless. And when I'm not, when I'm taking too long, that's a reflection of me and my like inabilities. So it's catching the thoughts. It's the pause of like, I can see I'm trying to control this. I know I want to do a good job. I hear you, like of myself, self-validation. I hear that you want to do a good job. I know you care deeply, but you just one foot in front of the other. You cannot control how much is on your plate right now. You can just do one thing at a time, and it's going to take the time that it takes.
Yeah, I like the pause. It really reminds me of like in yoga, we often talk about this concept of like zooming out and like looking at yourself from above and like what is the situation at a whole. like, yes, in this moment you may be really overwhelmed or really frustrated or really angry with whatever is happening, but if you look at the bigger picture, like, it's just like a tiny spark in everything that's happening. And if you take everything one at a time, as you were saying, then it's just like, oh wait, no, this is much more doable, and I'm gonna leave this over here, but I'm gonna tackle this.
Another thing I love to do is I just remind myself that I'm on a floating rock, like I'm on a planet, and how cool that is. Like, I'm on a floating rock, and at nighttime I'll look up at the moon, like, there's a moon there. That's really cool. Like, it just, like, it's the zooming out, and like, and there's a sun close too that's keeping me warm right now. Why am I worried that it took me an extra 5 minutes to pour this person's wine? Like, what bigger picture? I'm alive. I have so many beautiful opportunities, and that was a blip. It was a moment. So, something we've talked about in our training, Taylor, is the talk of like control and intimacy not even necessarily being like with a romantic partner, but like with your family, with your friends, with your coworkers. And this blew my mind when we learned about it, that we were taught that you cannot have intimacy and control at the same time, that you have to pick, because a lot of people think, well, I'm just going to control, and then we will have intimacy because I made this so perfect. But that's not always how it goes. Do you agree with that? And if yes or no, why?
Oh, absolutely. Like, I think the obvious example is in a relationship, but we can also look at it from like a yoga teacher's perspective as well. Like, if I'm really trying to control like how my students show up in a shape or a posture during class, and really like micromanage my like cues and everything, I'm really trying to control how someone's experiencing something. But if I can say like, hey, maybe you try it like this, or maybe you try it like this, and like giving options instead of saying like this is the only way to do like a yoga pose, then it gives them the opportunity to really explore, and then they get this intimacy with their practice and with me as a teacher, because I'm like holding a container more and guiding more than I'm saying like this is the only way or this is how to do it, sort of thing.
That's awesome. I've never thought of it in that way before, like from like yoga teacher and yoga student before. That's super cool. Yeah, because then you're empowering them, and then they get a better connection with you. Because I do feel like, as chill as we try to be as yoga teachers, there's still like the feeling of the students still want to make you proud, or they want you to like them, or just they want to do a good job in your class. They want to do the hard poses too and everything. So it's so great to give options and like the freedom to not feel like they need to be controlled or in that perfect yoga down dog position to have a beautiful experience.
Exactly. So I just think of like all the like new yoga teachers who are like, oh, I need to have like the perfect sequence and this needs to be right. And like, you cannot control how people are going to react to your sequence, to your cueing. You can't control how many people are going to show up to your class, show up to your online offerings, whatever it is. And if you are, this was a big thing to me, if you are focusing all of your energy on the things that are outside of your control, the amount of people who are showing up to your classes, then all of that energy is going like out. You're not getting to keep anything inside for you. And then that's when you're going to get drained. That's when you're going to get frustrated. That's when you're going to get overwhelmed. And it just ends up being this like negative cycle that keeps taking you down. But if you're focusing on like, oh, I'm going to wear this yoga outfit to teach tonight because this color makes me feel fabulous. Or I'm going to pause and take 5 breaths before I walk into this class to ground myself. Then suddenly you're like, oh, I'm in control of what my focus is on. And where your focus, your drishti is, that's where your energy flows. And then you have so much more to share, which is what most yoga teachers want to do.
My heart is like exploding with like that, like what you said, like 5 breaths before going into a class. Like that's so sexy. Like, oh my gosh, like yeah, it's like that's amazing. I actually, Kate, like no joke, no lie, at 10:30 today, something happened. And I was like, I'd love to share the story if we have time for
Yeah,
that.
go
Yeah. Okay.
for it.
Awesome. So I want to talk about rejection, because a lot of us, we think that we have control over like jobs and opportunities, that if we're prepared enough, if we're good enough in the interview, if we word this email perfectly, we have to be the obvious choice. And if we're not chosen, that it reflects on us. And it's such a dream killer, I think, when we have that mindset. So today at 10:30, I got a response from a business I was in contact with. And basically, like, bottom line, I was rejected. And it's, I at first I paused. I put my hands on my heart like right away and took some breaths. And then I thought about it. And it's how, like, it's so not in my control. And it didn't matter what I emailed differently, or if, because I instantly go to like, what could I have done differently? Or am I on the right path? Where did I mess up? What are they thinking about me right now that I'm so like inexperienced, or how dare I submit myself to this? Like, all these things that I have no idea if they're true or not. But then I made the analogy of like, imagine like Starbucks menu for a moment. Like, if I'm a vanilla latte, this business might have been looking for like a passion fruit refresher. And I can't control what they want, but I know who I am and what I have to offer, and being solid in that as my vanilla latte self. And I love that. And there are thousands of businesses that are looking for that. But this specific one maybe already has something that's like, they have a hazelnut latte already, but they want a refresher. Where, what could I can't change myself, right? So releasing that control makes me feel like, okay, it's not them, but there's someone else, versus me thinking that it's all my fault. It might have taken me another like 3 months to reach out to another business, like it's such a, like, that's why I say it's such a dream killer. When you think you can control things like that, it makes you slow down, because you're scared of like the bullying or the awful self-talk you give yourself after being rejected.
Yes. So releasing control is, instead of focusing on the email that you just got, is taking a few breaths and saying like, okay, I'm going to focus on what's next.
Yeah.
Focusing on what's ahead.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful conversation, Maggie.
Yes.
Just to sum it up, could you remind people of what the things are that are within your control? Because I know we went over them pretty quick at the start.
Okay, yes. Okay, let's go back. Yes. Breath. Breath, 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 breath. Anytime throughout the day, I like to remind myself on the hour, be like, oh, how have I been breathing? And not to punish, not to judge, just to have the self-awareness of, okay, my breath is like, my shoulders are like doing a workout right now with the way I'm breathing. Like, let's get it lower. Can I invite it to come lower? Breath. What we choose to wear in the morning. You get to choose how you present yourself to the world. And it's not the stereotypes of like, women need their makeup done, like we discussed earlier. It's not about that. So what feels good for you? For me, mascara, a necklace, this ring I love, these bracelets I love. That's, yeah, stuff that you love. Breath, clothing, what you eat, how you nurture yourself, and what you make time for yourself. Make time to eat when you have busy days, please and thank you. Because it's so important. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we have control over that. You don't have to be hungry all the time. What time we wake up, what time we go to bed. That's another big one. When we scroll, when we whatever, versus when time we set our alarm, how many times we press snooze, that is our control. How you move your body through space, even just how you present yourself, like the way you walk, if you're like if you're hiding yourself, opening up, how you make free time, how you plan your free time, what time you carve out for yourself, what time you don't carve out for yourself. And finally, your home environment. So if you let clothes pile up, if you keep dishes on the counter for a long time, if the pot soaks for 2 days or 5 days or however long you decide it wants to stay there, all within your control. And all these things, I think it's important to emphasize that it's not about bad choices or good choices. It's just knowing that you have those options. It's
you get
not
to
about
choose where your
you get to
focus goes.
choose. Yes, if you want to try to control the way someone perceives you, that is a choice. If you want to take action and declutter that cabinet that has been doing its cluttering for a while, you can do that, or you can leave it. It's no good or bad, but it just might make you feel differently about your own space.
I love it.
I love it.
I love it. So, where can people find you if they want to work with you?
Yes. Mindful Ambition is my business Instagram account. I'm also on Facebook, Mindful Ambition, same jazz. If you want to work with me, we can do a discovery call at the link in my bio. There's my Calendly link is in there. I also do somatic yoga classes over Zoom, and my the website to my or the link to my business is also at the link in my bio. So all that is right there, and follow along and you'll see kind of like stuff I'm doing. Like I said earlier, I'm working with singles as like a one-on-one offering, and what we do is I teach you how to not be afraid of being single. I empower you to enjoy all the opportunities that single life has to give, because it's a beautiful limited time of your life. And through that, we become red flag repellent, because people that are not afraid to be alone red flags aren't seeking those types of people out, or they become really easy no's. So that's my offering right now. Yeah, stay in the loop, because big things are a coming. That's me. What about you, Taylor? What about you?
Thank you, Maggie.
How can I work with you?
Yeah, so I help people with really big dreams, especially if you want to be a yoga teacher, gain the confidence and move through the self-doubt to actually take the steps, release the overwhelm, because there's so much overwhelm that comes with starting being a yoga teacher as you walk out of the 200-hour yoga teacher training. But self-doubt is the main thing that people deal with. So I'm really good at helping you move through that so you can actually start taking action.
Yay.
Thank you so much, Maggie, for this conversation. It was
you.
lovely.
I had a great time. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon. Bye.